glad to hear it. I'm wonderful that things are so good for you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Question of the day, kind of a carryover from yesterday. Yesterday, you got to choose between a personal maid and a personal chef. Today, you get to choose between a personal driver and a limo, a personal pilot with a helicopter, or a personal captain and a yacht. Now, you got to do some thinking.
The limo, because I can drive in a limo again.
Yeah, but if you've never been in a yacht, maybe you'd like a yacht better.
Can they go anywhere?
Anywhere that it will take them.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you want to take your yacht and go somewhere with it, you can.
But they have to be with you at all times.
What?
They have to be with you at all times.
What do you mean?
The driver has to be with you at all times.
Well, while he's driving you, he doesn't have to go into wherever you're going with you. Just drives you there, drops you off, lets you go where you want to go.
I was going to say there's 45 questions on the test, and then there's like 3 answers he wants us to answer like a study guide.
I don't know how, but I aced my first.
Is that who are we yelling about?
Mr. Venstrom.
What? Why are you complaining about him? What did he do?
Chaotic said that there's 45 questions on the test.
Yes,
The study guide he gave us
45 questions. He said most of them were multiple questions.
But the study guide he gave you only had what?
But the study guide he gave us only has like 3 questions. I feel like.
Well, maybe there are 3 very broad questions that lead to a lot of other questions.
If you talk around a minute, I'm sure he can talk around with you.
Yeah.
11. All right.
Well, leaders in crisis or something like that.
Yeah.
I aced that.
What would you say, leaders in crisis?
It's fun. I like it.
You get to do 1 pages in there too.
All right.
1 page things.
He didn't like me though.
Mr. Venstrom didn't like you?
No, because I keep on asking questions about dictators and how they ruled each part of whatever they wanted to. It got so bad to the point where I wrote a paper about Benito Mussolini. So.
Well, that's awfully strange for U.S. history class.
No, it's world history of leaders in crisis.
Oh, why were the leaders in crisis?
We were doing each unit on different things, on different parts of the world.
Well, yeah, each unit should be on different things, shouldn't it?
Yeah, we were doing different things.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, while you're thinking about your question, let me do a little checking here on something, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you're blue. So there are still 4 of you who have not turned in your lab from the other day yet, which means it's a 0, which probably means you're failing the class, ladies and gentlemen. So you need to get it taken care of and get it turned in. If you took care of it and turned it in, thank you. I've graded it and turned it back to you. Okay, so would you rather have a personal driver with a limo, a personal pilot with a helicopter, or a personal captain with a yacht? Ethan, go ahead.
I would have a captain with a yacht.
Why?
Because you can go anywhere that the yacht will take you.
Which means you can only go anywhere near water.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool to have a yacht.
It's pretty cool to have a helicopter.
Or a limo.
Pretty cool to have a limo. Okay. Late is late, right? There's either late or there's on time. Do they give you 5 minutes grace for being late?
Plus, you get a helipad on the yacht, so you just have a helicopter with the yacht. But you can get your piloting license, and then you can fly the helicopter thing. Nothing else on the box here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So Ethan wants a personal yacht so it could take him wherever he wants to go, assuming it's near water.
More to add to mine though.
Okay, go.
It can see a yacht has a helipad on it, so it can have a helicopter.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It could. It doesn't. That's not part of the question.
But he
The
will
question
know
is, you
with
get one or the other.
But he will know with
Huh?
this.
Zoe, he's explaining his thing. When you get the chance, you can
No,
explain yours.
no,
But
I'm just saying
you
he'll
don't,
know it.
Zoe. You're not helping right now, and you're kind of being rude by interrupting and trying to say what he's trying to explain to me. Let him do it, okay? Go ahead, Ethan.
So if it does have a helipad,
Yeah.
you can have a helicopter, but you
But you
not
don't.
have a pilot for the helicopter, right? So you get your piloting license and you can fly the helicopter.
Okay, but that's not part of the thing. You don't have one. Okay? You don't have one. There's no helicopter involved at all. So again, it's just a matter of how you would like to be transported. Okay? You're saying by yacht. Go
Yes.
places on a yacht. Okay, great. Next. Zoe, go ahead.
A limo.
Why? You don't have to have a reason, but of the three, that's the one you would choose?
Yeah.
Just any certain reason off the top of your head, or it's just what you choose?
Because I betting on it, I probably would like another experience.
Okay. All right. Christian.
A plane.
What's that?
A plane.
Yeah, but it's a helicopter.
Or a helicopter.
You're going to take that? Now, the reason I picked the helicopter and not a plane is because a helicopter is a little bit more practical. Do you know what I mean by that? A plane would be good for far trips, yes. But a helicopter would be good for, say you wanted to go down to Chicago or Milwaukee or somewhere like that. They have a little more limited range. But again, it's still getting you there a lot faster. Okay? So you're going to pick flying, though? Okay. Is it because you like flying, or you just think it'd be cool, or? Okay. All right. What do you got, Helen? Helicopter? Okay. Any certain reason, or just because it sounds cool?
I feel like there's no point in having a yacht. And I don't mind driving.
Okay. No point in having a yacht if you're not going to be on the water and near the water and things. Probably not going to be living in Green Bay if you have a yacht. Okay. Not saying you can't, but there aren't a lot of yachts in Green Bay. Okay. You could be the first. All right. Ethan, what are you thinking? Okay. Any certain reason why? No, just one of the three. That's one. All right. Lucy, what do you think?
Yacht.
A yacht?
Yeah, I like being out on the water.
Okay. Nice part about a yacht too is, I mean, if you could stop in the middle of water, just float there, enjoy the day. Yeah. Jaslyn? The yacht? Okay. Did I give you good reasons there to sell it? Okay. Alexa? Limo? Why?
I can look into the competition.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. No sense in having a yacht if you don't like water, right, Kayana? That was my way of leading into go ahead and asking you. Captain with the yacht. It sounds like the coolest thing. Okay. All right, Victoria?
I used to say the helicopter because you can travel like with the yacht, but then you can also stay in town too, and they still can use the
Okay.
places.
Okay. Faith?
I'd rather have a helicopter. I don't want a personal driver because I would rather drive myself. And a yacht kind of freaks me out.
And a yacht kind of freaks you out. Okay, again, if you're not a big water person, yacht's probably not the thing for you. Okay? Alex?
A helicopter.
Okay, why?
I've never been on it.
Never been on one? So you've been on a yacht? Or just a boat? Okay, fair enough. Mariana? Helicopter? Why? Don't have a reason? All right, Ivana, did we ask you? Why? Okay. All right. Ms. Start?
I would do a helicopter because I don't like driving long distances.
Okay.
That would get me there faster.
Okay. Now,
What about you, Mr. Brand?
that's what I was going to explain. Now, for me, the thing is, if you have a yacht, you might be wealthy enough to where you don't have to work, but you might still have to work. So I think a yacht would be the least used of those three that I would have. If you want the one that is probably the most useful, I would pick a limo with a driver. Because let's face it, most of the time when you're traveling, you know, be kind of cool to have somebody pick me up at my house in the morning, drop me off here at East, and, you know, let me teach. Of course, if I'm a teacher, I probably can't afford a limo and a driver. But anyway, I don't know. You could get work done in a limo while you're being driven somewhere, you know. I don't know that I could fly in a helicopter. I'm not a big fan of heights, and I don't know if in a helicopter that would freak me out or not. So I would probably go with the limo. So,
Limo team.
again, if I were retired and had nothing to do, I would probably pick the yacht,
Oh, yes.
where I could just cruise around place to place, stay there. Yes, go ahead.
Aren't you going on vacation to like Disneyland?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm going on vacation to Aruba.
When?
I thought it was Disney.
No, it's not Disney. I've been to Disney. Okay.
Did you guys
My kids are now
fly,
want to go
or
to like an adult Disney. No, we flew when we went to Disney.
Did that like freak you out?
Being in a plane does not. Being in a plane does not freak me out. I don't know about a helicopter though. I don't know. I've never been on one. I don't know. So who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Okay.
When are you going to Aruba?
Basically, the week after school is done. So, all right. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you are missing anything, you need to get it turned in. If you don't know what it is, see me and I'll tell you what you're missing. But all you got to do is go on Infinite Campus. Okay? All you got to do is go on Infinite Campus. Okay? By the way, that's a typo for when this hydrate worksheet is done. It's going to be due on Monday. Sorry, I didn't update this. I will. Okay? All right, so let's talk about carbohydrates, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the rest of the plan for today. We're going to talk about carbohydrates. We're going to get that done. Then we're going to take our quiz. Then you're going to have time to work on the worksheet and any other homework that you may be missing. Okay? Again, 4 of you still have not turned in your lab from the energy and food lab. It's causing your grade to probably be an F, ladies and gentlemen. The good news is you're all caught up on the quizzes for this unit. And since you're here today, you'll be caught up on the one for today as well. Okay? So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at carbohydrates. Okay, so here are some foods, ladies and gentlemen, or pictures of foods that are rich in carbohydrates. So what kind of foods are rich in carbohydrates? Go ahead, Ethan.
Anything with grain in it.
Okay, anything with grain in it. So you've got your breads, your pastas, your crackers. Yes, what else
Your
though?
oatmeal.
Oatmeal, again, a grain, good. I should have mentioned that one. What? Rice, high in carbohydrates, yes. Anything else? Sweets. Some sweets, yes. It depends on what they are made of. Some sweets more possibly fall into lipids or fats, but some sweets do come into carbohydrates, and there are some carbohydrates in sweets. You are absolutely correct. Yes.
Do specific drinks have carbohydrates in them?
Yes. There are carbohydrates in a lot of things. Okay? And here's why, ladies and gentlemen. A carbohydrate. First of all, when you hear the term carbohydrate, what do you hear? What do you hear in that name?
Carbs.
Carbs. Okay, think of the periodic table. What is a carb?
Carbon.
Something with carbon in it. Very good. What does hydrate mean?
Hydrogen.
Not to drink something.
Oh,
Hydrate specifically means to what? What? Replenish what?
Hydration.
Water normally. Water normally. Yes, the term hydrate means to drink something, but hydrate normally means water is attached. So they called them carbohydrates, ladies and gentlemen, because originally and still today, carbohydrates are made up of 3 elements: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So you've got carbon for carbo, hydrogen and oxygen for water. So originally they believed that a carbohydrate contained carbon attached to water. Now the reason they thought it was carbon attached to water is, what's the formula for water?
H2O.
H2O. In carbohydrates, the amount of hydrogen compared to the amount of water is normally double. So it seemed to the early people who started studying carbohydrates that there was probably carbon attached to water in there. And that's why they called it a carbohydrate. Now, carbohydrates are our energy source in the body. They are the first choice of the body if it is going to use energy. Now, your body has to constantly have energy. That's what we talked about yesterday. And your body will store energy. It stores it as lipids or fats. Carbohydrates are the foods that we eat that you get the energy from. So yes, when you talked about sweets or candy bars, there are carbohydrates in sweets and candy bars. There are also carbohydrates in pastas, in grains, in rice, in breads. That is why a lot of times before they run the Green Bay, not the Green Bay Marathon, what's one? The Bell and Run. The Bell and Run at the end of the school year when they run it, it's a 10K run. The night before it, they have a what dinner for the runners?
Carbohydrate.
They have a pasta dinner for the runners. A lot of football coaches will have pasta dinners the night before a game. Why? Which gives you what? Yes. So they want you to eat a meal beforehand that is rich in energy. So the next day when you are doing that event, you are running a marathon, you are playing a football game, you are having a big track meet or something like that, you have energy in your system from carbohydrates. So that is why they will do it. Okay? That is why they will do it. 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories of energy. 4 calories for 1 gram. Okay? So every gram of carbohydrate is pretty energy rich with 4 grams of energy in it. Okay? All right. And the basic formula of a carbohydrate, and this is where they get the term hydrate from, is a certain number of carbons. And then the hydrogen to oxygen are in a 2-to-1 ratio. Okay? So for example, C6H22O11. H22O11, that's a 2-to-1 ratio. Okay? All carbohydrates seem to have that. Okay? All right. So real quickly, let's go back and talk a little bit or review a little bit about the chemistry of carbon. Because for some of you, it's been a while. For some of you, it hasn't been that long. Carbon is a nonmetal. Carbon has 4 valency electrons, ladies and gentlemen, which means it can share up to those 4 electrons, and carbon can make up to 4 bonds. There is nothing else. There is nothing that can make more than 4 bonds. 4 bonds is the maximum number of bonds you can make. So because of that, ladies and gentlemen, carbon can bond with metals, it can bond with nonmetals, or it can combine with other carbons. And that is why carbon is the basis of life on our planet, because it is the most flexible element in making compounds. Hydrogen is again a nonmetal. Now, hydrogen can act like a metal, but technically it is a nonmetal. Hydrogen has 1 valence electron, just 1. Means it can make only 1 bond. Okay? But it can bond to carbon, it can bond to metals, it can bond to nonmetals. So hydrogen is flexible as well. Okay? So those are the 2 key ingredients in a carbohydrate. The other one is oxygen. Oxygen is a little bit more limited. That's why we're not talking about it. Okay? There are 3 kinds of carbohydrates. There is a monosaccharide. What does mono mean?
1.
1. Anyone know what saccharide means? The more common name for a saccharide? Sugar. Monosaccharide means that there is only 1 sugar here. This is the formula for 1 sugar, C6H12O6. Notice the 2-to-1 ratio here. That's why they were thinking water. Okay? That's why they were thinking water. Yes, Ethan, go.
Isn't that the formula for glucose?
Yes. Okay? These are what are called simple sugars, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Simple sugars are things like blood sugar and fruit sugars. So, for example, when, again, I was back in high school, and we would play football games. Okay? At our football games, we had a cooler full of water because some people like to drink water, so that was what they would use to hydrate. We had a cooler full of Gatorade. Then we had a cooler full of orange slices. Why? Orange slices have fruit sugars in them. Very simple sugars that you could eat during a game to give you energy. Water does great at replenishing the liquid in your body. Gatorade does good at replacing the water and electrolytes, but they don't have many sugars in them. So Coach also had a container full of oranges. Now, normally you didn't eat during the game, but they would bring it over at halftime. They would set it down and you would eat at halftime. You'd grab a couple of oranges. Why? Give you a little bit of energy, hopefully, for the second half. Okay? Now, the second type of carbohydrate is called a disaccharide. Di means what? Two. So what you literally do is take two of these simple sugars and put them together. And you make a more complex sugar. So instead of C6H12O6, you have C12H22O11. Now, if you look, this is not quite double this, is it? What's missing to double it?
Another oxygen.
Another oxygen and what else?
And they have more hydrogen.
How many hydrogens? Two hydrogens and one oxygen? What's two hydrogen and one oxygen make? Water. When simple sugars, these monosaccharides, combine into disaccharides, they would give off water. Another reason people named them carbohydrates, because water was being given off when you would make these disaccharides, so people thought, oh, there has to be water in this. Okay? There has to be water in this. So if you're not following what we're saying here, ladies and gentlemen, I'll try to make it a little bit easier for you by showing you this. Okay? And that is, if we take and if we double this formula, we would get C12H24O12. Great color to pick there for that last part here, O12. This is C12H22O11. So what is missing are two hydrogens and one oxygen, water. And that's what's given off when these disaccharides form, okay? It's given off when these disaccharides form. All right, so a disaccharide, ladies and gentlemen, is two simple sugars put together. That's what it means. Disaccharide means two sugars. They're two of these simple sugars put together, okay? Things like cane sugar and milk sugar. So this is the sugar that you put into your coffee. The sugar that you put into when you bake something. The sugar that's sitting at home on your counter probably. And also milk sugars, okay? Milk sugars are really good for infants, okay? So that's what gives infants their energy, is the milk sugars, the sugars in the milk they drink, okay? So monosaccharide, disaccharide. Now there's a third kind of saccharide, and that is what is called a polysaccharide. What does the term poly mean? Poly means many. So this is many sugars bonded together, ladies and gentlemen. Many of these simple sugars bonded together. Not two, maybe three, maybe four, maybe 30. Okay? Many of these simple sugars bonded together, but we give this a special name. Anybody know what we call a polysaccharide? It's found in potatoes, found in noodles, found in starch. Yes, these are starches. These are starches. And starches are not technically sugars. They are made up of sugars, but they're large groups of sugars together. When we get to this, we call them a starch. Okay? We call them a starch. Okay? These are glucose polymers, long change of glucose molecules. You said this was glucose, right?
Right.
This is a bunch of these glucoses linked together. Okay, a bunch of these glucoses linked together, ladies and gentlemen. And these are starches. Okay? And starches are the strong part of a plant. The stem that makes it, that holds the flower up. The fibers. Okay? Matter of fact, years ago, people used to put starches on laundry. Why? They would put starch on laundry to make it stiffer. So a dress shirt, you could get a nice crisp collar out of it. No wrinkles on the dress shirt. But when you would wear it, it was very stiff. It was very, you would bend and it didn't want to bend with you like clothing does now. There are some people who still like that starched clothing. Pants, they would starch them so that they had a nice pleat right down the center of them. Okay? And because these starches are these long chains, they would hold things together. They would hold things together. Okay? So what's up? Go get it, because you can't do anything in here without it, or go to the library and get a computer. Okay? All right. Okay, so these are some different kinds of monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. I'm not going to quiz you on this. Okay, but understand, I am going to quiz you on what a monosaccharide is. It's a simple sugar. Glucose, fructose, and galactose. So blood sugar, fruit sugar, C6H12O6. Now, disaccharide is sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Okay? So if you take two of these simple sugars, fructose and glucose, and put them together, you get cane sugar, the stuff we put in our coffee. If you have lactose, that is these other two simple sugars, glucose and galactose, and that makes the sugars that are in milks. And if you put two glucoses together, those are the sugars that are in germinating seeds. What does germinating mean? Growing seeds. Okay? And then these polysaccharides is starch, cellulose, or glycogen. That is what they are, ladies and gentlemen. Plants, plant fibers, things like that. Again, just showing you so that you can see this is one, this is two, this is many. Now, if we take a look at them, ladies and gentlemen, these are what the sugars actually look like. Now, take a look at this compound right here. Do you see water in it? Do you see H2O?
No.
They were wrong. They were wrong about carbohydrates. There is no water in carbohydrates. However, these corners here, except for this one, represent carbon atoms. Okay? And each carbon atom has a hydroxide, an OH group, like up here, and a hydrogen attached to it. A hydrogen and a hydroxide happen to make formula H2O or water. Okay? So when these two simple sugars combine and make sucrose, they combine here between these and they give away water. That was another reason that they thought they contained water. It's because giving off water when you make these disaccharides. Okay? But this would be a monosaccharide, this is a disaccharide. Okay? This is what a polysaccharide would look like. Three of these linked together. Three of these linked together a little bit differently. These are going straight across. These are going up at an angle. There are two different polysaccharides. There are starches and there's cellulose. Again, showing you this just so that you can get an idea of what they look like. Not expecting you to draw that, not expecting you to know the names of them other than monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. All right. Go back. Go back. There you go. Polysaccharide. Good. Questions? Okay. This is what is called an organic compound. Why? Because it contains what element?
H2O.
Nope. Organic compounds contain what element?
Hydrogen.
No. You've eliminated one. There's only two other elements in there. Oxygen, we've eliminated two.
Carbon.
Carbon. Carbon, ladies and gentlemen. Carbon is in organic compounds. You and I are organic beings. We have carbon in us, and it is the main ingredient that makes us up. All sugars have carbon in them. All sugars are carbohydrates, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Now, because of that, they have these other groups attached to them. These groups that make certain characteristics. Let's go back for a second. These are sugars, correct?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
What happens if you take certain fruit sugars, put them in a container, and let them sit for a long period of time in darkness? So, for example, if you take grapes and smash them up, what? Turn into wine. Wheat, barley, oats will be used to turn into beer. Wheat will be used to turn into whiskey. Vodka comes from certain grains. Why? Well, these things here, ladies and gentlemen, these OHs right here that are all over the place in this compound, those, ladies and gentlemen, are sugars. Sugars will ferment into alcohols. So this whole thing is a sugar, but this part of it is what we call an alcohol, ladies and gentlemen. So if you let grape juice sit long enough, under the right conditions, don't just take grape juice, put it in your fridge, and think it's going to, in 6 months, become wine. Under the right conditions, they will turn into alcohols. They will go through a process called fermenting. They will chemically change into alcohols. Okay? And that's how we get whiskey. That's how we get brandy. That's how we get beer. That's how we get wine. You take sugars that are in grains and you ferment them over time. Then you concentrate them down by distilling. Remember distilling? Separating things based on its boiling points from the end of last unit. That's what you do with them, ladies and gentlemen. But you do that because they have what are called these functional groups in them. Okay? Functional groups could be something like the ring shape that those had, or the alcohols, the OH. They could be this ending, which is called a carboxylic acid. They could be these OH groups or this oxygen that is here. Anything that's not a carbon or hydrogen can be a functional group. Okay? And that's why sugars turn into wines over time. That's why wheat will turn into alcohol, because it has the key ingredients in it. Questions? All right, ladies and gentlemen, and here's what we got for you. 2 things. Number 1, we're going to take our quiz right now. So, put away your computers, take out a calculator, take out your periodic table if you want it, and clear your desk and get ready for your quiz. Now, after your quiz, ladies and gentlemen, there is a worksheet on carbohydrates that is in Google Classroom that you can work on and complete. And if you're one of the 4 people who has yet to turn in the lab from yesterday, please do that. You do not need your computers for the test. So you can put them away.
Wait, our test is on the paper?
Your test is on paper, like I've been telling you this week, yes.
I don't remember you telling us that.
Well, I've told it to you. It's not my fault you don't listen. I'm sorry.
I don't think you told us.
I did tell you, yes.
No, you didn't.
It doesn't matter if I did or I didn't. I told you you were going to have problems to work out. So you have problems to work out. Yes. What? I need to change it, and I haven't had the chance to change it yet, sir. I'll do that when I get a minute, but thank you. Yes, I will. Thank you. Nice job yesterday. Yeah, I don't want to know.
She says she's free.
I'm sending you for liquid nitrogen.
Alrighty. That's a good lab though with liquid nitrogen.
Yep. All right. So you gotta get. Well, you're gonna be going next door anyway. So that's
Yeah, that's why. I'm leaving my computer. I had to leave my computer over because it thinks it's solid.
all right.
Hey. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob.
Bro, this was already broken, right? Yeah, like, 'cause I was about to say, like, I was literally just testing it, and I heard crack.
You know, you could use a few more pens.
Oh,
Just saying.
we're going this way.
Oh. We'll have to next door.
No, because whose person was supposed to be in there?
You got a whole ton of pens there? I'm a big fan of pens, but some of you are getting a little excessive. Just saying.
You have a lot of choices in there.
You do. I know. Life is about choices, and the more choices you have, the better off you will be. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. You're welcome. When you're done, bring it up, set it on my desk, and then you can work on either the worksheet that is due on Monday, or you can work on the lab that you may not have done yet.
Oh, it's really only one paper.
There's a question on the back side too.
One paper.
So. We don't have any. We make them out of the long rods that are back there if you need them. But okay. How many do you need? 4.